Hi guys, it's Dakota. Hope everyone had a great week, and I hope that you are safe and well. I hope that you are dealing with the stay at home, stay in place thing that is around most of our states and counties. I actually don't have a problem with staying at home. I enjoy it. I like my alone time. Maybe it's because I was an only child growing up. I'm used to alone time. And I rather enjoy it, to be quite honest with you. But I will say this, I miss my store completely. I miss it. I miss interacting with our lovely, beautiful customers, who, by the way, if you're watching, just sincere gratitude. I'm just so, I have such a great clientele. There's just, everybody is so supportive, and just such kind words, and anyway, I love you guys. So thank you for that. But I do miss my store. I just miss like the essence of the store being in there as well. So anyway, but I'm good at being home alone. I don't mind it. Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about today is a subject that well, it just recently kind of surfaced somewhere. I'm not really sure. But in my little journal that I had told you about, of ideas and things that I wanted to talk about from a couple years ago when I wanted to do YouTube, but I was too chicken. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was magic, like what is magic versus what is spell work, that kind of thing. And so I thought, well, that would be a good topic today. And I think one of the reasons that what helped spark this was that I also have had people ask me about, why don't I teach spells? Why don't I, teach a class on spell work? And even with my Witchcraft 101 class, I'm going to say this, that I don't teach you how to do a spell. I can teach you, I can show you, and I can tell you how I do my spell, this specific blah, blah, blah. However, that's mine, my energy, my words, the things that I wanted to add to my spell, etc. There's plenty of books on spells and how to do a spell for this and how to do a spell for that. But again, that's somebody else's spell. And don't get me wrong, like Scott Cunningham, grew up with him, and he's got spells all throughout his books. And although those are great, especially for the beginner witch. Oh, look, we were all beginners. We all had to start somewhere. And I did start with Scott Cunningham, and I started with Silver Ravenwolf. And because that's what, and Raymond Buckland, because that's who was available at the time for reading materials. And of course, back then I didn't have any mentors. So, and so I love Scott to death. However, if Scott puts together a spell and says, here's a spell for love, and use rose petals and use this and use this and use. The thing is, that's Scott's idea of what a love spell is. Maybe that worked for Scott, and maybe Scott never ever did it. Maybe he never did that spell. But it just, those were the ingredients or the correspondences, etc., that resonate or deal with love spell. And so, like rose quartz. Rose quartz is a love stone. And we have so many customers that buy the rose quartz to draw love, or whether it's romantic love or passion love, or maybe it's self-love, or to become more loving, just whatever. It's the love stone. But there you go. Different people might purchase that stone for different reasons. So, its sole purpose is love, but you have to put your intention into it, what you're going to use it for in order to sort of activate it, I guess, if you will. So I kind of feel the same way about spells. And in that, I really do think that you have to has to be your own work. It has to come from you. So what I wanted to do today is I'm going to just give you my feelings, my definitions, how I feel about the differences between magic and spell work. And under magic, and I have my notes right here, so you're going to see me looking down at them, because I got the squirrel mind going on, as always. And sometimes when I'm preparing to do something, or even taking something from my notes, I always read over them, and then that stirs something for me, and I'll put that down. And if I don't look at my notes, I will forget to say it, and then I'll be mad that I didn't say it. So, okay. All right. So for me, magic or magical, being magical, or doing magical work is really about living the talk. So I can sit here and honestly tell you that to the best of my ability, I live my talk. I live my witchcraft. I live my Wicca. I live my beliefs. I live that to the best of my ability. Do I have off days? You betcha. You betcha. I sure do. I do have off days, and I do have off days where I get off track of where my place is on my magical path. The thing that I discover from that is that as long as I recognize that, I'm off my path, I'm off track of my beliefs and what I practice and what I preach, then I have to look at that, I have to own it, and I have to look at it, and I have to reevaluate how I got off track with that. And it could just be something like, I was having a bad day. It was just a bad day and whatever. So what? We all have those. We all have those. But I do try to live true to my word and what I say as a magical practitioner, a spiritual practitioner, a witch, Wiccan. I do try to live my word and my truth to that. And so in saying that, I do try to, magic for me is walking my talk. And I don't just talk it and then not follow up anywhere, or not do anything spiritual, no meditations, no devotions, no nothing. And then one day something happens and I'm mad at that person, or this isn't going right, and so I dabble and I put together a little spell. Well, that does work for some people, and for I'm not going to say that isn't what it is. It's what you make of it. For me, that doesn't work. So for me, in order for me to be true to myself, I have to be true to my talk. So therefore, I have to live my talk, and that's what I try to do. So for me, that being said, just that alone is magical. To me, that is magic, and that is magical. Or that is magic, and that is being magical. Magic is also divination is a magical practice. It's magical. Divination, tarot, for instance, is a magical practice. Can it be used in spell work? Yes, it can. Yes, it can. I've used tarot in spell work. But tarot cards themselves, to me, when I do a reading, that's not spell work. It's practicing magic. It's different. I have no intentions in it. I haven't put any energy into the cards other than, like, I have not said to the cards, this is the outcome, or this I'm doing a reading for love and romance, come forth. And then you do the cards and it's all about, breakups and no magic or no love whatsoever. So cards for me is magical. It's a magical practice, or divination is a magical practice. It's not really spell work. Can it be used in spell work? Yes, it can. Nature walks, just taking walks around nature, that is magical. There's all kinds of gifts out there that's right in front of us. All we have to do is observe it and see it. And I tell my students all the time, slow down, slow down. You just need to slow it down. Observe, listen, smell, think, see, open up your senses, open up your clairs, open up your third eye, open up that crown chakra. What is around you? What is being offered to you that you're not even seeing? And if you should see something on your walk, like a feather, okay, great, you found a feather. Well, you know, if you look up feathers is about messages from those that have, our loved ones that have passed. Okay, that's fine. However, maybe it is a message from the universe that says, this is for your devotional altar. This is for your deity. This is a gift for deity. I need you to deliver it. Okay? Maybe it is, this feather is exactly what you need for that spell that you're thinking about. Okay, so then it's for my spell work. So we can't just assume that that feather has one purpose and one purpose only. Maybe the purpose, the actual exact purpose is message, but that message can be used in various things. Message and meditation, giving it over to your deity if you have one, and maybe the message is going to come through them, or doing it in a spell work and a message will come through that way. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm saying, is there's things in nature that are magical. We always are finding stones that are, they just look, they're an odd shape, or they're just exceptionally beautiful in an odd place. You know what I mean? Like there's no rocks whatsoever, and then you look down and there's this most gorgeous rock, and where did that come from? It's magic. That's magic. That's magical. Meditating is a magical, can be a magical practice. Rephrase that. It can be a magical practice. Journey work can be a magical practice. Communicating while you're in journey is a magical practice. Shadow work is magical practice. Journaling is extremely magical. It's a very, very good form of magical practice. So there's all kinds of things that can be and fall under magical. Now, magic can also be something simple. So you can actually perform some magic, like maybe you do know someone that is ill, and you ask them, you know, they tell you, they post something on Facebook and say, you know, oh, I'm not feeling well, say a prayer, say a blessing, whatever. And maybe you can say, can I light a candle for you? And they say yes. And so you just light the candle, and you just sort of, you know, this is going out to my friend and in health. And so that is not really doing a spell. That is sort of a magical intention. So there's a fine line. There is a fine line when it comes to stuff like that. But it's not spell work. You haven't prepped, really, unless you've gone through the motions of carving into the candle, writing a name, writing a petition, dressing it, doing all, then that would be spell work. So where you're working for a person, but you're just lighting a candle and asking the universe for some help, you know, with your friend. So there's no, in magical practice, something simple. There's, at least in my workings, I don't cast circle, I don't call in the quarters, I don't call any guardians or ancestors, unless, again, it's just something simple, where I'm not really working a spell. I'm just asking for some energy to be sent or to be brought in, but not really working a spell. Okay, so one of the things that aggravates me a little bit when people talk about magic, I have customers that will come in and they'll say, my friend practices black magic and, such and such. They're getting themselves in trouble. Or, oh, what kind of witch are you? I'm a gray witch. Do you practice white magic or black magic? I mean, well, the thing is magic doesn't have a color. Truly, it is neutral and it is amoral, and it can be used for good intention. It can also be used for bad intention. It depends on the practitioner, but the magic itself is not of color. The magic itself is neutral. So it's just neutral. Magic. Neutral. That's how I see it. How I see it. Practice what you will. That's how I see it. All right. Now the difference between spell work. So spell work is more like it's more like a formula where you are going to you have a specific thing. Money. I'm not working. The COVID-19. I don't know why I say that every single time. I don't know why I do that. It's probably because my store is the Peddler and the Crow, and Crow's a Corvid. I don't know. We don't have a virus, trust me. So the COVID-19, and people are out of work. And so money is an issue. Money is an issue. And they need money to pay their bills and have food on the table, etc. So there's a specific intention, and that is to draw a money source to them. They need to draw an income. They need to have money to pay the bills and to eat. So that is a formula or an intention where you need something specifically to happen. You need to create it. You need to create the energy for it to happen. So you could then at that point write out the specific intention or the specific petition. Write it out, but then you have to follow up. You have to take action. I know I've said it all the time. I'm pretty sure I've said it in a video or two here, but I teach this to my class all the time. You have to, first of all, you have to be extremely specific in your wording. What is it that you really, really want? Not money. How much money? How much? Be specific. And, and how do you want to receive it? That it harm none. So we don't want to receive it because somebody, our family member got COVID and they're no longer with us, and now we have the inheritance. That isn't what we meant. That isn't how we wanted it. So be specific with your intention or your petition. And then you have to take some action. You have to own that magic. You have to own that spell work. Again, I've said it. You cannot just sit back and, just think that money's going to grow on the tree. I wish, right? I wish that. If I could wish that, I'd be doing a wish spell for a money tree. There's no such thing. Doesn't work. So you have to take some action. What can you do? What can you do to help with that energy? What can you do to help bring in money? What can you work at home? Can you purge your closets, purge your garage? What are the things that you are not using that you haven't looked at in the last year? Sell them online. Can you sell them online? Extra income. Can you make something and sell it? You have to help. You have to take action. And your spell work can be really simple. It can be very simple, or it can be extremely involved. It can be ritual-like. You can set up a circle. You can cast circle. You can call in the guardians, call in your spirit guides. If you're looking for love, maybe you want to call in a specific deity, maybe Aphrodite or maybe Venus, if you're working for love. If you are working on a healing, like, somebody is ill, and you specifically want to name that person and send that person. Maybe if you work with the saints, maybe you want to call in Saint Michael to help with that. So it's more ritualistic. It doesn't have to be a ritual. I'm just saying it's more ritualistic, where you're actually setting up a sacred space or a magical space to do your work. It requires focus. It requires it falls under the category. It does fall under the category of magic, but there's a difference. Magic, spell work. Work. So that's how I see the difference in spell work. There was if we look back to a couple of our ancestors, I want to mention Aleister Crowley. Some of you may have heard of him. I'm not going to go into him at all, other than, to say one of his things that he said was about magic, not spell work, but about magic, and that was, it is science and art causing change to assist in conformity of will. Dion Fortune, she said it a little bit differently. She said, it is the art and science of changing consciousness according to will. According to will. So spell work then is about willing it, and it's about putting those things that we know together in spell. I'm going to do a candle magic, therefore it's specific to drawing in an income. I'm going to use what color candle that represents money. I'm going to carve on the candle which specific symbols or words do I want to use to help increase the energy of that, because the whole time, everything that you're doing, you're putting your energy into. I would like to add herbs, because I really want this to be, this huge thing. So I'm going to add herbs that correspond with money, finances, that type of thing. An oil to dress my candle, a money draw oil. I'm going to call in the guardians. Maybe I'm going to use the elements. Maybe I'm going to use deity or whatever. So it's more about planning and prepping and focusing the intention and having the will and to dare to go through the whole thing, the whole process, instead of just saying, I'm lighting this candle just to light up her, to send some light her way, kind of thing, some healing energy her way. It's a little bit different. One of the things that so those are how I feel the differences between magical, and spell work. One of the things that I also wanted to touch on real quickly was selling our spell work, and our spell work, because back in the day, everybody looks down on that. Everybody frowns on that. Not everybody, but there are those. Okay, change some words here. There are those who look down on others that sell their spell work, for money. But my opinion on that is that back in the day, the witches, the cunning man, the folk workers, the root workers, that's what they did. That was their job title. I'm a medicine man, or I'm a folk magic worker, and it's what I do for my income. And people come to me, they want me to do spell work to bring in this income, because it's not their practice. It's not their thing to actually get involved in doing magic. Not that they don't believe in it, obviously, or they wouldn't be coming. They think, obviously, that there's something to it, but they're not interested in doing it themselves. So they, or they don't have the occult knowledge to do it. So they're going to come to the person. Now, the person that does know. Now, here's the issue. So for people that think that it's, I would never pay for a spell, well, then don't ever pay for a spell. That would be up to you. It's entirely up to you. You don't have to. No one insists that you do. Do the work yourself. And I would recommend that. I highly recommend. The more energy you put into your stuff, the more success you're going to have with the end result. The more success you're going to have. However, I'm not a medical doctor. Therefore, I go to a medical doctor to maybe get my allergy medicine, because over the counter doesn't work. So maybe I go there, or anything, I'm not a dentist. So if I have a tooth issue, I go to the dentist. Do you think that's free? No, it's not free. If a dentist has been practicing for 30 years, 20 years, 30 years, I'm pretty sure that their medical costs, their medical studies have been paid for. But guess what? They are educated, they have the knowledge and of what they do. They understand it, they know it. I don't. I'm willing to pay them for it because I need it. And I don't know how to put a filling in my tooth, So they should get paid for their services. And on top of that, for those of you that don't agree with practitioners getting paid for their services, let's think about it this way. If I came to you and I said, magic isn't my thing, I don't practice, but I need this love spell. Okay, I want a love spell. And the person that I go to says, sure, I would be happy to make one for you. They have to have supplies. Whether they're putting it in a bottle, whether they're putting it in a Gree Mojo bag, something like that, whether they're putting it in a shoe, I don't know. First of all, they have to have the item that they put the stuff in. Then you have to have the stuff, the herbs. If you planted a garden, she goes out and gets it out of her garden. She didn't have to pay for that. She had to buy the seeds. Not everything that we have in our supply cabinet was gifted to us. Sometimes we have to buy supplies. Candles. Well, she makes her own candles. But, okay, where did she get the wax? She had to purchase the wax. She had to spend her own money, her own time, her own energy, finding the wax, buying the wax. Okay, well, she's got beehives, so she uses wax from that. Okay, well, fine. She has to take care of the bees, has to take care of the honey. What I'm saying is, my point is, what about the time? What about the time and the energy that the practitioner puts into your spell? Because my time is valuable. It's worth something. It's worth something. The knowledge that I have is worth something. And I don't always charge for my services. Hello, YouTube. I do this because I want to. I do this because I hope that I'm able to help somebody. I hope that I'm able to answer a question. I hope that somebody watches this and goes, she doesn't know anything about it. good. Then you won't make any mistakes because you'll do your own thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's no, people need to be paid for their services. And if you don't want to pay for their services, then do it yourself. I mean, I just hate that. And that only just came up. It has nothing to do really so much with the Magick versus Spellwork, other than I just witnessed a big argument about that. And it was about Spellwork. And it really aggravated me. It just really made me so mad that people were jumping on the practitioner for charging the person because they felt that person really needed that. But guess what? They weren't even friends. The person that was asking for the work was not a friend. Somebody had mentioned the practitioner to that person, and that's how they connected, just to do the work. Now, I am opposed to the price gouging, that's what I call it, of someone's work. But I can't put a price on somebody else's opinion or ideas of what they think their worth is worth. What their worth is worth. I know people that charge. In my opinion, I think it's outrageous to charge the amount of money that they charge for certain magical practices that they have, whether it is tarot, psychic readers, different spiritual counseling, thing like that. I think some of the prices are absolutely outrageous. And then there are some who at least charge at least charge something. Charge something, because your time is worth something, your knowledge is worth something. And they're coming to you because obviously either they don't have the gift to do it, or they don't want to invest in the time that it takes to gain the gift. So, and so it really bothered me, because the poor practitioner was really trying to defend themselves, and explaining the cost of the items that went into the spell work and the amount of time and energy that they put into it. And that had already been discussed with the client, and the client had agreed to that price, which, by the way, was not price gouged at all. I thought it was very fair. So it wasn't so much that the argument was about the price gouging, or that there was any price gouging. The argument was that as a witch, as a practitioner, as a magical practitioner, and someone who is providing a spell for somebody else, you shouldn't be charging money for that. That's not what we do. So I think that's something for everybody to think about. If you think that someone's services aren't worth paying for, then perhaps you shouldn't ask to use their services. So, all right. So there you have it. For me, magic, or being magical, is about me walking my truth, me walking my path, my spiritual path, my magical path, my witch path, and being as true as I can. I'm flawed. I'm not going to be able to do it every day. It's not going to happen every day, but then I try to own it, try to take responsibility for it. But that is, for me, that is magic, and that is magical. And spell work, for me, or spell crafting is actually the active part of creating the magic that I want to send, and putting what I know, my knowledge, my occult knowledge into that. So that's what I have for you today. Everybody stay well, and I do my live videos. I don't know how long I'm going to do it. Hopefully only until we open again, which I hope is soon. But the live videos are on my shop page. I do them on Fridays, or I have been, subject to change, but you can always check it out on The Peddler and The Crow. Thanks, guys. Be safe, be smart, stay well. Bye.